are you, everybody? My name is David. I'm a professional chess instructor and coach working primarily with children between 5 and 10 years old. I use chess as a tool to teach children truth and reality against television, internet media, and video gaming, fantasy, and illusion. A video game player uses hand-to-eye coordination to instantly deal with the situation in a game at hand. A chess player needs to work with an organized thought process in order to come up with a good move selection. So, chess actually is a completely different thought process than what many children are used to in the video gaming and the world of fast media. With chess, there is an order to things, and this order actually has two components to it. One of them is evaluation, and the other is calculation. Evaluation states, in any given board position, am I better, worse, or even? There's three different phases to the game. The opening, get your pieces out. Get your pieces into play, mobilize your army. The middle game, play for tricks and tactics and forcing moves and combinations. And then the ending is all about getting a pawn to the end of the board if there's very little material, and that has its own properties too. But during the way, you're always calculating, computing, and at the same time evaluating. And you're working to figure out these types of solutions. I want to tell a story about a young boy that I work with. And again, this is all about, I want to kind of bring this into perception. Chess has more moves available than all the stars in the known universe. However, the number of practical move choices is greatly diminished when you come to the organized thought process. So there's only I don't want to say a finite number of good choices, but probably a countable number. Chess is known to be finite, but yet uncountable according to mathematicians. So I'll leave that to the mathematicians to figure out what that means. However, when we take a look at how we arrive at good moves and how we proceed to the game with the final goal being a win, we have to create mini plans. The player has to create a mini plan. I need to get a piece to a nice outpost. I need to open up squares so there's more mobility in this direction or more mobility down the board in that one. And so this player is always thinking about how to get up one other level and how to make the next step and the next mini goal and the next one after that. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Mistakes are made, and you can go from a great game to losing or from a losing game to winning. It's just the nature of the way it works. And so I'd like to think that we take a look at these objectives, these mini goals, and we can move them into life. Chess is a small part of what life can be like. Losing a chess game is a small price to pay to learn something very valuable about how a young player can objectively evaluate themselves and how they can look at themselves. Well, there was this one young boy that I have worked with. I play a special type of event maybe 2 or 3 times a year. It's called a training simultaneous exhibition. And the way this works is there are a set of tables with chessboards on them. The tables would come around in a circle or a semicircle. There would be anywhere between 20 and 40 children. All the boards would be set up, and I would be going along and playing each game individually like this and going around the circle. Now, the object is to play everybody at once. The simultaneous exhibition player myself, the goal is to win every game or not to lose any. However, in this training simultaneous exhibition, I'm actually helping them beat me, because I'll come to a board and someone will make a mistake and I'll say, you don't want to do that, you give me that piece for free. Here, let me show you what you need to do at this stage. And then I move on to the next one. Okay, this is something else that you can't do because it leaves your king unsafe. And so as a result, they get this way of using evaluation and calculation in an experiential form. They can also get help from the boys or girls sitting next to me. Parents are also willing to help. They can ask questions. It could be very interactive. That's the whole point of this. Well, I came to this one boy. He's one of a twin. 2 boys are twins. The other brother loves chess, wins in tournaments, very confident. This other one, not so confident about his skill set in chess. But yet, he's a very intelligent boy and a decent chess player. And so I got about, 35, 40 minutes into the exhibition. I stop at his board. He looks and I said, what's the matter? He goes, well, I don't know what to do. Can you help me? What should I do? I'll say, well, what are you looking at? Well, I could go here. Yeah, that's a good move. That's fine. Well, how about this one? Can I do this? That's good too. Well, I could just take this. That's good too. Well, what should I do? I said, well, you know what? I can't see anything wrong with any three of those choices. They may have three different plans. You're going to have to choose and pick. You're going to have the confidence to take a direction here. And just rely on yourself, that you know enough and that you can judge accordingly that you've picked what is correct for you. Okay, right? He moves, come around the board, another 10, 15 minutes. I look over and I'm in trouble. Okay, and so we play a few more moves. I come around another 10 minutes later, found out I made a horrible mistake that he took advantage of with very cold calculation. He won a bunch of pieces that I had. I had nothing left for resistance, and I resigned. I stood there and I shook his hand and I said, great game. He looked at me, he says, what do you mean? I says, great game. You won. I resigned. He goes, I won? He looks from left to right. I won? I says, yeah. Did anyone else beat you yet? No, you're the only one to beat me. And I'll tell you, I've done 2 other events. I've played roughly 100 children, and of that, you're the only one to actually get a win so far. He was like completely shocked. And so even later after the event, his mother came up to me and he said, did you let him win? I said, no, he actually beat me. And what I'm hoping is that he blew his own mind in this, that he took his perception of himself, what he thought he was as a chess player, and blew that out of the water by winning this, which is a fantastic thing. Okay? So what I'd like to say, the point to this is that we all have goals in life. For example, some people in the room may want to become doctors or lawyers or architects or construction builders. Whatever your life goal, save one. Okay? Your life goal is to save people in need, one person at a time. And so what has happened, there are events in our lives. There's steps that we take. There's many goals that we aim for. We have many plans to reach these many goals. If it's the professional route, well, we need to have an education in that field. We need to move forward, sometimes an internship in order to become whatever, that professional person. And so we move forward. We don't allow this to stop that. We don't, the lesson that chess has to offer us is that we don't allow our objective judgment of ourselves to affect what we're going for. In other words, some children might say, I'm not good at math. No, I don't like to look at it that way. I like to look at it as you're not interested in math. It's a different point of view to look at it. So that point of view may or may not affect your goal. So in chess, we win games, we should lose. We lose games, we should win. We take a look at the score sheet afterwards and we said, hey, I had a great plan here. I just blundered my queen. Or we say, you know what? I was getting clobbered. This other person made a mistake and I still won. I need to reevaluate how I approach this position. And I'd like to think that I offer this for children to take into life and to use this so that way they can achieve their goals and they cannot allow the illusion of who they think they are affect what their real strengths and weaknesses are, that they can objectively evaluate that. Thank you.